If we're going to talk about cells, it's important to talk about the membrane proteins and the types of membrane proteins because as we talk about physiology, these membrane proteins are going to be involved in a variety of different functions, right? And so there are three main membrane protein types that we talk about. There's something known as a peripheral protein, something known as an integral protein, and something that is known as a transmembrane protein. Now, this image shows the variety of different membrane proteins that you can get. Like you can get a glycoprotein. Here's just a glycolipid, but then down here you have your transmembrane, channel protein, integral protein, peripheral protein. Now, I want you to pay attention because I'm not the biggest fan of this picture, but it's what I have, right? So an integral protein is different from a peripheral protein, and that's different from a transmembrane protein. Now, a peripheral protein is one that sits on the periphery of the membrane, right? So remember that the cellular membrane it's a phospholipid bilayer. So it has a hydrophobic region and it has a hydrophilic region. So hydrophilic out here, hydrophobic in the center where the triglyceride tail is, right? And so inside of here, right, where the hydrophobic region is different from where the hydrophilic region is. So a peripheral protein sits on the periphery of that membrane. So it sits out here on the phospholipid or the phosphate head, right? So a peripheral membrane protein is hydrophilic. It interacts with the water, either in or out of the cell. There can be an intracellular peripheral membrane protein, like this one here, and there can be an extracellular peripheral protein that sits on the outside of the cell, on the extracellular side. Right? So remember, peripheral on the periphery, likes water, hydrophilic. Okay? An integral membrane is one that has both hydrophilic and hydrophobic portions. So it's going to basically be on the outside of the cell membrane and on the inside of the cell membrane. So it's going to have hydrophobic and hydrophilic portions. So hydrophilic out here, hydrophobic in here. So the regions, there's going to be hydrophilic regions of that protein, hydrophobic regions of that protein. Now, a very specialized type of integral protein is a transmembrane protein, and that's one that's going to go all the way through. It is going to have an intracellular side and an extracellular side. It's going to see both of them. That's a transmembrane protein, and these are often, most of the time, channel proteins that things can move through. Okay, not all integral proteins are transmembrane proteins. Okay, so not all integral proteins have to go all the way through. Okay, so that's a key difference. But a channel protein or a transmembrane protein goes all the way through. So it has a hydrophilic and a hydrophobic section as well. Integral proteins, hydrophilic, hydrophobic portions. A true peripheral protein is going to sit on the outside and it's only going to have a hydrophilic portion and it's going to interact with the water. Okay, so those are three different types of membrane proteins that are going to be very important as we talk about the physiology of the cell.